What time is it?
6:06.
Oh, sweet. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Eat Off Art channel, as well as the By Alexa Jones channel. Whether you're watching Facebook or YouTube, welcome to another live virtual cooking class brought to you by REACH, which is the Ferry Street Health and Wellness Project through CAI Global. And REACH, along with myself and Community Health Centers of Buffalo, are working to help people cook a little more green. I'll say green, to add more vegetables to their plate, to make vegetables the star of their plate, and recognizing that one of the social determinants to health is food and digestion and what we have access to. So welcome on this Wednesday, September 15th. I don't know what the weather is. It's supposed to be almost fall. September 1st marked the feeling of fall with the temperature drop, but today it felt a little like summer with the mugginess after all the rain. And but the rain is good because if you have an urban garden or a community garden, or if you're a farmer, if you've been fortunate enough to receive a garden from Buffalo Freedom Gardens or Grassroots Gardens, or you have gone to the farmer's market, you know that vegetables are really in their prime. And as long as we, or as soon as we can get fresh vegetables in our hands, let's start cooking with them. Because once those vegetables are picked, they start to lose their quality or their freshness. Almost like when you drive a car off of a lot, it automatically depreciates. Well, so do your vegetables. They do retain a lot of nutrients, obviously, but just know that the fresher quality, the fresher taste um, comes from fresh picked or locally picked and sourced fruits and vegetables. So if you do not currently do it, please visit your local farmers markets. Please visit your local farms. When you go to Wegmans or you go to Co-op or Aldi or Price Right or Save a Lot or anywhere else, ask the produce managers, ask the owners, ask the other managers if they have local produce. There are also many other farmer market stores. There's a couple in Snyder, like Farmers and Artisans, and I believe they have a co-op coming soon in the Williamsville area. Obviously, the Lexington Co-op, and there's some other small stores in and throughout Buffalo. Hopefully, at your local convenience store, if you have a corner store that is affiliated with the Corner Store Project, where they have fresh fruits and vegetables. I will always tell you, will always profess that eating your daily dose of vegetables is really important. It's vital to our health. We are entering another round of COVID, and I can't speak more of your immunity is your best defense. And listening to science and professionals and just recognizing that there are things that we have to do in order to ensure not only our safety, but the safety of our family members, of our friends, the people that we work with, and the people that we come in contact with each and every day. So be safe, be well, make vegetables the star of your plate, and let's get started. So today I am making a spiced lentil soup, which is featuring some really spicy and warming herbs and spices. I am also making a focaccia bread, which has fresh picked tomatoes and some caramelized onions, some olive oil, some salt, pepper, and some seasonings. And then I'm making a garden salad, something that you probably maybe have not done before. It's a little kooky, but I think it's going to turn out well. But we'll get to that later. So first, we are going to start on our focaccia. And this is a weeknight meal, right? So we want to do something that's quick, something that is convenient, but something that's going to grant our success within this hour. So I am starting with pizza dough, frozen pizza dough that you can either make in advance and then just store in your freezer. This is about 1 pound, or you can use pizza dough from Wegmans or Ray Miller or Dashes or Price Right or Aldi or anywhere else that you shop locally and regularly. Pizza dough, and it usually comes in a pound bowl or round. And I'm using a plain 9x13 baking pan. And I chose this size because I want my focaccia to have a little bit of height to it, because I would like to use the leftovers as sandwich bread. So my son is starting school now, as with everybody else's. And when you cook, you want to make sure that you have something that will last you not only for leftovers, but you can repurpose or reuse in order to, have for a little longer. So I'm using this focaccia. Focaccia is basically it's bread. It's fried bread, but fried in the oven. And it's fried with the olive oil that you put in the pan on the bottom. and you pour on top of it. It's a copious amount of olive oil, but it's good olive oil, and oils are good for you. So we're not going to use as many oils when we're cooking the rest of our meal. So I started off with about maybe 3 tablespoons of oil in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to put more olive oil on the top. Yeah, it looks like a lot of olive oil. I think technically you should be using like a half a cup of olive oil per 1 pound of pizza dough or dough. But I don't measure, so I use it by eye and by feel. So we're going to feel this out, and we're going to make dimples within the dough with our fingers in order to incorporate air. And in order to incorporate or get those little holes and those sockets for the olive oil to seep through. Focaccia is very characteristic. You can tell what it is because it's flat and it's bubbly on top. That bubbly is done by pressing your fingers into the dough, not spreading it, but moving quickly your fingers. You don't want to tear it, but you do want to simply create those indentations. And I did let this sit out maybe about 40 minutes to an hour. And so it's nice and room temperature. If it were too cold, it would be fighting me and pulling back in. So this is perfect because it's letting me flatten it out, and you can see, hopefully you can see the big pool of olive oil. And I'm using cherry tomatoes, and I'm just going to position them in there. They're going to roast and get nice and soft with the focaccia bread. I could also add some olives in here. I could add green olives or red olives, the Kalamata olives, but I'm just going to use the tomatoes. Keep it all fresh veggies. And then I'm going to sprinkle it with some thyme and some black pepper and some salt. I'm just going to use sea salt. You can use kosher salt. You can use Maldon salt. You can use flake salt. You want to kind of taste that and see that salt on top. And then I'm going to also add some caramelized onions, which I took out of the freezer. I made them, maybe about a month or so ago. And I'm going to add the caramelized onion. You can use fresh onion. It's just going to char a little bit, but the caramelized onion is going to give a little bit of sweetness. And it's going to go well with the meal that we're creating. So with focaccia, literally you can put anything on this. You can put nectarines, you can put apples. This is a plant-based meal. So we're not going to add any cheese. But you certainly could. You could add Parmesan, Asiago, feta cheese, and more. I have my cameraman with me. Thank you, cameraman. All right. I'm using gloves because I'm not near my sink, so I don't want to have to wash my hands every 5 minutes. So now I have the tomatoes, the caramelized onions. Now, some salt, some ground thyme, and some black pepper. If I start sneezing, it's the pepper. And I'm going to pop in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes. The temperature on the oven is set at 425. Setting my timer. I'm going to start my timer off at 25 minutes. Well, 20 minutes. Because I don't want to overcook it, but I want it nice and golden brown. I don't want it beige. I don't want it blonde. I want it nice and golden brown. I want it to look like kind of like fried bread. So when you're baking, you want that brownness and the caramelization. You want it to look like it's cooked and look like it has a lot of flavor. All right, next, because of time, we are going to go. What time is it, Dries?
6:17.
6:17. Perfect. All right, so we're going to start our soup. and then with Auto TV Magic, it's going to be done. But we're going to start our soup, and I'll tell you all of the ingredients that we have. We're working with split red lentils and split yellow moong dal, Moong. Why am I using these two? Well, you could just use the split red lentils. Can you see that? They're nice and, let's see, they're really thin. They're typically whole, but they're very thin. They cook down, so they're sometimes used to thicken soups because they break down really well. And they kind of like almost make a puree if you cook them long enough. So because of that, and you certainly could use just this, I am going to add the split moong dal, which has a little more body to it, a little more texture, and doesn't cook down as much. So these are two types of lentils that I'm mixing together. And they're really, lentils are great for a nice protein kick, to give you, just what you need. So I have my lentils with a bay leaf. I have 1 cup of lentils. I have about maybe a cup and a half of red onion. I'm using red onion because the dish kind of ends up being a little brownish, so the red will give a little bit of color. I'm going to be frying the onion in coconut oil. And you're probably saying, well, coconut oil is a low heat oil. And that's correct. I'm not going to be really frying anything at high heat. I'm going to be, sauteing the onion at medium high heat. Then I'm going to, add the spices to fry those, again, in medium heat. And then I'm going to simmer on low heat. So coconut oil for this is good. In this dish, it also gives it a bit of sweetness or flavor. The spices that I'm going to be using are cumin, coriander, smoked paprika, crushed red pepper, and dried ginger. I'm also going to be adding in fresh ginger, this is actually a ginger paste that I found at Price Right, which is perfect for these types of meals because I don't have to chop. I don't have to grate. I can just take it by the spoonful and put it right in the pot. It's just, again, convenience. We want to make sure that's our dog. He's letting us know somebody is here. Convenience. You want to do something that's going to be quick and easy. And then I have ginger, which I did grate because I like that extra punch. I like the fresh flavor of ginger, but I also like the flavor of the dried ginger. I think it just adds to it. For my liquid, and I have a vegan bouillon cube. These you can get at virtually any store now. You could also use like the bouillon or the soup base in the glass jar. I forgot who makes it. They have a vegan chicken one as well. You can use that or any other flavor. You could use broth if you wanted to, absolutely. I just tend to use this because I typically don't keep a lot of broth around. And this is easy and convenient. I can pull it out of my cabinet and I can add water to it if I need to, or I can use it as is for an extra punch of flavor. And then my liquid is coconut, 1 can of coconut milk, and about 3 cups of water, 3 to 4 cups. I'll tell you in a minute why I say 3 to 4 cups. And then I will finish off the soup when I plate it with some lemon zest, some lemon juice, and I think I'm going to use coconut yogurt. It's vanilla flavored, so hopefully it won't be that different. But yeah, that's what I'm going to finish it off with. So I have my wonderful little doodad over here. I'm going to put my coconut oil in. And I'm going to add my onion. Then I'm going to turn on my burner to medium heat. I want that to fry a little bit. I'm going to coat the onion with the coconut oil. I'm going to add a hit of salt. 1, to start layering flavor. And 2, because the salt, in my opinion, helps to soften that onion a little bit, give it a little more translucent. And while I'm doing that, let me tell you a little bit about the spices that I use. So I use whole coriander and whole cumin, and they're seeds. So the coriander looks like little round seeds, and the cumin looks like stuff you would find on the top of the caraway seed bun. And I toasted those in a dry pan. That means no oil, only a pan over about low to medium heat until I could smell the fragrance of those spices. And then, when I started seeing them like popping and jumping off the pan, then I knew that they were nice and toasted. I made sure I stirred them and swirled them in the pan. Then I took them out of the pan so they would stop cooking. And I wait until they cooled off, and then I just used a coffee grinder to grind them down. I like to use whole spices because they last longer in the cabinet and you can do more with them. So if you want a nice fresh flavor, then you would just use them untoasted. But if you want a deep savory flavor, toasting them really brings out the flavor in the spices. And then I'm going to add in my ginger. Turn the heat down a little bit so my ginger doesn't burn. My ginger and garlic. Stir that up. And already smell the awesomeness. And we don't want a really high heat. We don't want to saute and burn the onion. We want that onion and the ginger and the garlic to almost create like a stock base, right? To get some flavor going. You got the coconut oil in there. You have the salt that's kind of helping those onions soften and bring out some of that juice. So if I had this on really high heat, I'd be burning everything now. But I don't want to do that. I want to get those flavors to kind of work together and chill out together. Now I'm going to add my spices to my oil, my onions, my ginger, and my garlic. And I'm going to bloom the spices. This is blooming. Let's see if I can do this. Let me sleep in. Blooming means put your spices in your onion and your oil, let it cook so you can bring out more flavor. And I'm going to let it fry a little bit on the heat. Again, to get that flavor out. So like 1 minute, 2 minutes, just let it percolate, let it get a little warm, let it fry a little bit. And that gravy is starting to form. All right, now I have my lentils and my bay leaf, the red lentils and the moong dal. I'm going to pour that right into my pot. And I'm going to coat everything. So I want all those lentils. There you go. Those lentils is to get that coating of seasoning and oil. Can you smell that, Reese?
Mm-hmm.
Can you smell it? Yeah. Smells good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I have that ready. I'm going to add my bouillon.
And you left it.
Huh?
Yo was late. She said, "What are you making?"
Hey, yo, I am making focaccia, a spiced lentil stew or soup, and a salad, a vegetable salad, which hopefully you'll be surprised about. So I have all of my seasonings, my onion, my oil in my pan. And, the heat is like on low, but low, in between low and medium. And the spices are sticking just a little bit. That's okay. because you're going to be adding liquid. And what that liquid is going to do is help loosen all those spices. So the spices, as they kind of stick to the bottom of the pan a little bit, is kind of, again, creating an extra layer of flavor. In goes my whole can of coconut milk. Don't worry about getting it all out because you're going to use a can as another measuring device. You're going to add about 2 cans of water. This is just regular tap water. You can use filtered water, whatever you choose to use. 1. And 2. Not dirtying any extra dishes. I'm just, using what I have.
Sandy White says go. Alexa.
Hey, Sandy.
Auntie Val Reed is on.
Hey.
Karen Edmonds.
Wow, my peeps. How is everyone?
LV.
Hey.
Yolanda says she wish she lived closer. Yeah, me too. So you can cut my grass.
Well, you can always bring me down to Albany and, have me cook for you in your organizations. Yeah, I do that too. So I'm going to bring this up to a boil. And as soon as it comes up to a boil, I'm going to turn it on low. And it's going to cook for maybe 20 to 30 minutes. Again, simple. Our focaccia is already 8 minutes in. So that is starting. I'm going to keep this at hand so I have it available to me. Clean up a little bit, hopefully. So I have about, I would say maybe 1.5 quarts of liquid in here with all of the spices and the lentils. And it's just going to create a nice warming, I'll say soup. Some people say stew, but I still consider it a soup because there's not a lot of chunks or anything in it. So we'll just do it like that. Okay.
6:30.
6. Wow. Like going at lightning speed here. That's what happens when you over prepare. I tend to do that. But that's okay because now I can spend a little more time on the salad, which I'm not sure what it's going to turn out to be. We're going to find out together. So I was going to make a simple cucumber salad because cucumbers are in season. I love cucumbers. They're alkaline. They're really good for our body. They contain a lot of water in them. And they're good for snacking. They're good for savory stuff. They're good for salads. Cucumbers are they're just a really good vegetable. And it's something to have on hand. It's a vehicle for sauces, for dips, and for dressings. So I started out with just a cucumber salad. I was like, I kind of did that already. If you all remember the soul food Asian meal I made, one of the last classes with the collard green and cabbage rice dumplings. That was really good. If you weren't on the class, check YouTube on the Eat Off Art channel and you can find that class recorded. And on my website, www.alexajoan.com, you will find a recipe for these dishes along with many other recipes. Anyway, I already made a cucumber salad, but again, cucumbers are in season. And if you have a CSA, or if you have your own garden, you probably have a lot more cucumbers. So I'm sure you're always looking for cucumber recipes. So I was like, well, what if I just added in a bunch of vegetables to my cucumber salad? Dries, can you turn off that soup on the simmer burner? Or is it already low? Is it boiling or anything? Oh, no. Okay, then you can just leave it. Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. So anyway, I was like, what if I just added a bunch of vegetables to it? So that's what we're going to do. We have cucumber. Don't talk about me. This is going to be really good. Cucumber, carrots, red pepper, red cabbage, and parsley. Now, this is the interesting thing that is part of this meal. You know what this is? And this? They're plums. I'm going to add plums to the salad. Why? Because I want to add a little sweetness to this. I want to add more texture to the salad. And I want to kind of avoid adding sugar to the dish. So I'm going to add some things that contain sugar, like the plums. And I'm going to use a rice vinegar, which has a bit of sweetness to it. And I'm going to use that as the base for my dressing. Maybe a touch of lemongrass. And try and avoid olive oil. And see what happens. Are you ready for this journey? I am. So I have my red cabbage because I want to have a rainbow on my plate. And I'm going to cut everything in like almost cubes so they're kind of uniform. And they're also easy to eat with a spoon or a fork. So I'm just going to chop up some red cabbage. And watch my soup simmer and wait for my focaccia to come out of the oven, or for at least me to check it. So in goes my cabbage. And this can be used as a topping for like romaine lettuce or something like that. You don't have to just eat this. You can add, if you're a meat eater and you just need some meat, go ahead and add some meat to this. It's completely up to you. So this is actually an English cucumber. I didn't have any cucumbers in my garden this year. That's the only reason why I don't have my own cucumber. But this is a seedless one. I was rushing. I usually like to buy the seeded cucumbers because, you know, things with seeds are living. And I like to put living things into my body. So I'm just going to cube. Nothing fancy. I just cut the cucumbers in half and then in thirds. And now I'm just chopping them. The great thing about cooking with lots of vegetables is that you can snack while you're eating and not feel guilty about it. Snack on some cabbage, snack on some cucumber. This is a great way to get a rainbow in your diet. Next, I'm going to chop up some pepper. And I don't want the pieces to be super small because, again, I want you to be able to see the pepper and I want you to be able to pick up the pepper with a fork. This happens to be a little leftover pepper from something else I made this week. So, you know, again, it's a really big pepper. I get 2 uses out of it.
What's in the oven?
Hmm?
What's in the oven, the bread?
What's in the oven? The focaccia, which I need to check on because it's been 20 minutes. This over. Let this cook some more because of TV magic. Woo! Look at that focaccia. I'm gonna let it go a little longer. It's been 20 minutes. Hold on, I'll be right back. Don't leave me. Don't want to burn my hand, but I'm gonna let it cook a little longer. I just wanted a little browner. And hand me another oven mitt, please. This one is not the best. All right, back to our salad. Careful, that back burner's gone. Just put it in your chair. So next, I have my carrot. I'm just gonna cut this in like quarter moons. So in quarters. And I have 2 carrots. You could add kale to the salad. Massage your kale before you put it in. Because the carrot is raw, you obviously don't want to make the pieces too big. But you could also use shredded carrots if you don't want to bother chopping. Completely up to you. All right. And I'm going to get the plum in here. Oh, that's going to be really nice. So the plum, I use this knife. I'm just going to dice this as well. You ever had plums in your salad? Hopefully not. Hopefully this is very new to you. Because it's new to me too. Make sure your plums, are sweet or tart if you like them tart, but you want them to add flavor, replace that sweetness or that sugar that you are not adding to your salad. Nice and sweet, a little tangy, which will be really good. And I think my oil is getting a little wild in my pan. So I'm going to check that.
You have a comment. Yolanda says plums and salad. Wow.
Yeah, why not? Veggies and fruit. I mean, you could even add like some quinoa or some couscous to this, just to give it even more. Yep, I'm smoking this out of house and home here. So my focaccia is just about done. I knew that was going to happen. Be mindful. I think this is the second time I've done a cooking show and the smoke alarm has gone off. I think it's the second time. Is it the second time?
I think so. 2 or 3 times over the past 2 years.
I usually always have the smoke alarm going off when I'm cooking. Just why not? I don't always use the hood because I can't hear people. And today the windows aren't open, which they definitely could be. But because that oil, be mindful, you don't want to have too much oil in your pan so it, flows over into your oven. And then parsley. Cilantro would be really nice in this too, but everybody doesn't like cilantro. So you don't have to add cilantro. You don't have to add parsley. If you want something green, like I said, go ahead and add some kale to this. What?
Val says she sent the fire department.
Ah, thank you. Just tell them I'm cooking over here. Maybe that should be a new shirt. Don't send the fire department. I'm just cooking. Thank you all for hanging with me. Hopefully you get some good inspiration for a new meal. And I am going to chop this as fine as I can. I want the fresh flavor. So some people might say, how come you're not just using dried parsley? Well, everything in this dish is fresh, so I want it to be fresh. Perfect. All right, you want to see what my bowl looks like? I didn't mix it up yet. Definitely a little bit of the rainbow. So I have my red cabbage. I have my cucumber, my red pepper, my carrots, my plums, and my parsley. Nice, right? Nice, beautiful. They say you're supposed to eat a rainbow a day, a raw rainbow a day. So that's what we're doing. We're eating a raw rainbow.
Don't do that every day.
Huh?
We don't do that every day.
You don't do that every day, but they say you're supposed to. Still working on it. We gotta at least get a meal a day. Sometimes we're working so much we don't even get a full meal in, but that's another story for another day.
Yolanda asked, where do you find inspiration? 6:45, by the way.
Okay. Where do I find inspiration? I don't know. I just go by my taste buds, or what I haven't used in a while, or if I want to create some type of fusion. So the other day I saw a great Lebanese recipe. It was a spicy potato recipe. I think it's called harara batata, and it's like cilantro and lemon and chili pepper and paprika, and there's one other ingredient, and roasted potatoes. Oh, I did it. Obviously, I tweaked it a little bit, but it was like the best potato twist. It was like not Greek potatoes, but these were Lebanese potatoes, and they were wonderful. You had the saltiness from the roasted potato, but you had that zing from the lemon, and then you had the spice. I used red pepper. I didn't use chili pepper, but I did add some crushed pepper to it. It was perfect. Oh, and garlic and lemon. All right, so yeah, I don't know. And then when you all ask me questions, I also get inspiration because I don't know everything. So I have to research. I got to find it out, or I don't know. I just ask around. Yeah, I think that's my top answer. So since it's the soul food is food for the soul, I'm gonna put a little Sylvia's in my vegetable salad. It has basil, thyme, oregano, marjoram, rosemary, garlic, red pepper, and yeah. So why not? And lemongrass and rice vinegar. Isn't that a weird combination? I am going to add a touch of salt because salt helps improve the flavor. It's not a seasoning, but it will ensure that what you have tastes really good. I have lime zest. We may go over a little over 7, but that's okay. See, and I thought I didn't have enough time or had too much time.
Barbara Walter said, love the background music, fabulous looking salad.
Hey, Barb.
Val said, looks delish. Yolanda wants the recipe.
It will be on my website along with the other recipes, www.alexajoan.com. You can also get to it from our eatoffart.com website under the About Us page. All right, I got my lime zest in there. Now I'm going to get my lime juice. Now, if you have a really hard lime and you're going to juice it, you want to break up some of the cells. So you want to roll it. You want to make sure that it's kind of soft, and then you want to use a press. This is like a lifesaver in the kitchen. If you don't have one, invest in one. It doesn't cost that much. You can find them virtually anywhere now. Put the lime right in. Okay. And then I'm going to take some of my lemongrass in a tube. And just add that right to the salad. Can you take that focaccia out of the oven? Yes, use lots of oven mitts. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Brown.
Brown because a lot of the they had 425 instead of 400, but because I turned it off and left it in there a little extra long. Rice vinegar. You can bring it over here. Right here on this. And mix. Ooh, that's beautiful. And literally that is it. You're going to taste it to see if that's the flavor that you want. Make sure you get all the ingredients in one bite to make sure it's a good salad for you. See if you need to add a little more seasoning or salt, which is not seasoning. Or if you need a little more lemongrass. It smells really good. I don't have a... Always taste your food. So I have my plum, my cabbage, my carrot, and my red pepper. You can do a lot with it. You can add some sesame oil. Oh, this is good. The plum is like perfect. It's like that, just extra sweetness. You don't like rice vinegar, you can use balsamic or apple cider vinegar. You want to taste this? I'm going to put it on a plate too. All right, careful of that. Okay, I think I made everything. And it's $6.50. All right, so let me clean up. You all can ask me any questions if you have any questions while I clean up. Does it need anything? No?
No. Strawberry.
It needs strawberry?
But I can't eat strawberries.
Oh, strawberry would be good too in here. Strawberry and cucumber would make a really nice salad. So parsley does more than just garnish with flavor or garnish with color. Parsley will actually add that extra freshness that you may want in a salad. The citrus will bring out and combine a lot of the flavors that you have. So now the focaccia is good and ready. How am I going to cut it? I'll be back. The focaccia magic. I am going to put on this cutting board because I don't want to cut it in my pan. Turn it off. Can you see that? I don't know if you all can see me getting this out. But focaccia is going to stick a little bit to your pan. Because remember, you literally fried the dough in olive oil. So you take just a nice firm spatula, you lift that focaccia out of the pan, and make sure it's not sticking. I got just a little bit stuck, not a lot. That's the focaccia. Now I'm going to put this off to the side because I want it to cool a little bit. One of the tricks with bread, do not cut it while it's hot. If you cut your bread while it's hot, homemade bread, fresh out of the oven, what's going to happen is that it's going to start to dry faster. So all that steam and the heat and everything will evaporate. And then you're going to end up with really dry bread, hard bread that you don't want. So it's almost like when you rest meat, you don't want to slice into your meat right away because all the juices are going to come out. So you let it rest for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then you cut into it. Bread, it's typically a little longer. You really want to cut your bread at room temperature. You don't want to cut it steaming hot. I know we all love bread, fresh baked, steaming hot out of the oven, because it tastes amazing and it tastes like this pillowy cloud. But try not to do it. Try and resist.
Samina asks, what's a substitution for carrots?
Samina, you and these carrots. Don't put carrots in it. Leave them out. Add another vegetable. Put cauliflower in it. Broccoli even. I mean, literally, you can do any type of vegetables and any type of fruit that you want to. Blueberries, strawberries, like Idris mentioned, cherries, nectarines would be really good in this. Yeah, you can do that. All right, so now we're ready to plate up. We have our bowl for our salad. I'm going to give the salad another toss, because whatever dressing, the lemongrass and rice vinegar that is on the bottom, I want to make sure it gets incorporated as I plate it. You can also put tomatoes in this. I just didn't put tomatoes in it because I've got tomatoes on the focaccia. All right, so I have my salad. Next, I am going to plate my soup. TV magic, it's perfectly cooked. And it smells so good. I don't know if you all can see this. Look at that. So in order to serve and plate my soup, I am going to lemon zest and coconut yogurt. This is organic, dairy-free. If you are not plant-based and you are a vegetarian, you can always use sour cream. But I am going to use this. And it's kind of separated. So the yogurt, obviously, because it's yogurt, it's always going to have some type of separation. I am not going to mix it. I am not going to mix the liquid into the yogurt. I want to keep that thick part of the yogurt. See how thick that is? So if I mix that, it would be like really nice and creamy and perfect for yogurt. But I don't want to mix that. I'm going to use that thick part, put it right over my soup. That's going to be perfect. I'm using perfect a lot today, though. And then I'm going to garnish with some lime zest. And I am going to serve it with a little wedge of lime on the side, just to add brightness and bring out the flavors in the soup. So lime on the side, excuse the nick in my plate. And now, even though it hasn't been 30 minutes, I'm cutting up the focaccia. Always use a bread knife. This is not a bread knife, but it is serrated. It's like perfect. Idris said it's really brown. I said, that's perfect. That's like the crust on the focaccia, which focaccia is chewy, it's flavorful, and it's just so good. And it's bread. So it's good. All right. Ooh, you hear that crunch? Whoop, 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 whoop. See that? That's beauty right there. And it's cooked beautifully. So here we have your weeknight meal, your soup, salad with a side of bread, and just to give you a little base of why we call this series Soul Food is Food for the Soul, is because we have this idea or this notion or this historic meaning of what soul food is. And at the time when soul food was started, it was started for a reason and a purpose. It was started to unite people, to fuel people, to give people energy and nutrition, and to sustain them during difficult times when they were out in the fields. We made masterpieces. Black and brown people, indigenous people, made masterpieces out of the scraps of food that was handed or thrown to them by the master's table. We took those scraps, we took those ends, we took that garbage food, and we literally made it into our statement, our food. We were eating off of our art. We made sure that we had good, nourishing food on the table, what we had access to, in order to provide a good, nutritious meal to sustain us those long, hard, brutal days in the sun on the plantations with our hands aching, our feet aching, our back aching, our hearts breaking. So that was soul food. And because we are standing on the backs of all of our ancestors, from the continent of Africa to the plantations of the South and the Caribbean, we're standing on all of our ancestors, and we are creating our own narrative thanks to them. We have the voice, we have the freedom in order to utilize our voice, in order to make our statements, and to change the meanings, not changing the history, but changing what things mean to us, what we need it to mean to us and for us now. So we say soul food is food for the soul now because of our health situations, because of the social determinants of health that our Black and brown communities are facing right now. We need to rethink the things that we put on our plate, and we need to incorporate more foods that are going to increase our immunity and are going to aid our health and our digestion now. Food that is going to help us battle those inflammatory diseases, diabetes, high cholesterol, stroke, heart disease. All of those things are inflammation. So we want to ensure that we are putting foods on our plates and eating correctly for our health, for our future, and for our legacy. We want our kids to know, yes, we have access to this food. And if we don't have access to this food, then the people who have the foods and are providing the foods need to recognize that and know that our communities, our Black and brown communities, do not always have access to healthy foods. That's why grassroots gardens and Buffalo Freedom Gardens are so important to our neighborhoods and are important to our communities, to make sure that we all have access to healthy food. There's no reason at all that a family cannot have in their refrigerator a head of lettuce, some carrots, some cucumber, some cabbage, and things to make a healthy meal and to nourish them and to keep them and sustain them and to help build their immunity. So I talk about food all the time. I cook lots of different types of food, but my message and my narrative will always be make vegetables the star of your plate. Do whatever you can to make sure you have more vegetables on your plate, that you're eating more vegetables, that you're eating for your health. We like our, some of us like our beef and our chicken wings and our ribs and all. That's fine. In moderation. Your plate should not be 75% meat and a little bit of iceberg lettuce on the side as your salad. Let's reverse that. Let's make your plate 75% vegetables and that 25% chicken, rib, whatever you want it to be. Everyone is worried and focused on their health. So let's make those first steps in order to improve our health. Add more water. Drink more water. At least 8 glasses of water a day. Add more vegetables. Think about what you're putting into your body as you eat it, and think about how your body is feeling during and after you eat it. That's going to help you determine what's good for your health and what's good for your body and what's good for your soul. So with that, I say thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you to Reach, which is a project of Ciccatelli and Associates. Thank you for taking the time and investing into the communities, wellness and health and prosperity. And thank you for bringing me on board in order to share my messages about food and making vegetables the star of your plate. That's all I got. So my tech person, I think, is going to join me. Do you want to taste? Thank you. I'm going to keep on cooking and I'm going to keep on sharing. And I hope you all continue to ask me questions, even if I'm not doing a cooking show. Ask me questions. And this is an apron from Guatemala. Thank you, Kelly Galloway, for sharing that. What you got? What you going to do? What you going to taste?
My mom said that she wants some focaccia.
Some focaccia? Okay. You're going to taste that? The tomatoes might have made it a little... Is it hot? Oh. What do you think? There's no cheese on it. It's just the onions and the tomatoes and the thyme.
Still good.
Still good?
Yeah.
We usually eat it with, like, you know, some Parmesan cheese on it because it's a nice hard cheese. Thanks, Yo. So Yo bought some gear from Eat Off Art, which is our website. And she bought some great pieces.
Love you too, Val.
And so if you're not familiar, check out www.eatoffart.com. This is your favorite soup. And I added the coconut yogurt.
This bread is right. I mean, it's hard to stay away from bread.
It is.
Once you have good bread, but it also requires discipline.
It does. How's it with that coconut? Because the coconut yogurt, it has a vanilla essence to it.
It's very good.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
I did good.
The lime, you forgot about the lime, though. The lime.
Yeah, and you can add more lime. I talked about the lime.
No, I'm saying you forgot about when you just said that you asked me what I could taste. You didn't mention lime.
Oh, because I didn't squeeze lime juice in it. I just added the lime zest.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And you can taste it?
Yes.
Well, all right. I love it.
You didn't taste it yet?
No, I didn't taste it yet.
You taste the lime?
I have coconut yogurt on. It's really good. Don't forget about the salad.
I have some of the salad.
Oh, you did? Oh, right.
Yes.
You did. It's a good compliment, right?
That's really good.
Yeah, that bread, I tell y'all.
She says she has no discipline.
Yeah, that bread, I'm telling you. Now, I can't eat bread. I like every once in a while, I'll take a square of something, just, you know. And it doesn't bother me as much anymore because I know what I need to do in order for it not. I do. What?
You're not supposed to have it all. You're just not supposed to.
Anyway, every once in a while I have a little square just to make, because I gotta taste my food, right?
Yeah.
I gotta know what I'm making.
Tasting your food is different than.
It's a little square. It's a little tasting
But that's
square.
different than. I want bread, so I'm gonna get bread.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, so yeah, so the bread is just this is something you can slice in half, make a sandwich out of the next day, and just really, you know, enjoy it.
I already ate too.
Oh yeah, you did.
Dang.
So there you have it. Technology tested and approved. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Remember, we are Eat Off Art, Alexa and Idris, and this message has been brought to you by Reach and Ciccatelli and Associates. Thank you so much for your time. You all have a great evening and a wonderful end to your week. Peace and love.